Welcome to 2Nerds and an Actor. We are here bringing the podcast to you through social distancing. So glad we could be here with you all, even though...
Well, we're not here with anyone.
We're not here.
Not even with one another.
We're not. We have had a hodgepodge set up so that we can make sure we don't spread this thing and still give you the content that you deserve.
Time capsule. We're talking about the coronavirus.
We are. We really, really are. Okay. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong. Okay. So we wanted to bring you this episode because it's been a little bit while since we've sent out something. And that is not technically because of Corona. Me and France actually traveled to Australia. If you want to know more about that, well, you probably have to know us.
Good day, mate.
I think we might put together a slideshow. That would be really fun. Maybe we'll post that. Aisha and France travel across the world.
Vegemite.
But then we kind of came back to all of this. So it's been a trip, I will say that. But we got a good show for you. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 3 of 2Nerds and an Actor. I'm here with my nerds behind the chair, Mike Santana.
Wait, if I'm the nerd behind the chair, does that make me the Merovingian?
I guess so.
I'm not Colonel Sanders in the chair. I'm going to go with Merovingian. I'm feeling French.
And France Jerome.
Who the hell is behind the chair?
I don't know.
I'm Ned. That's it. I'm Black
But
Ned.
he's the man in the chair. See, This is what's blowing my mind.
So we had to be different. That's why, okay? We have to be different.
All right.
And I am your friendly neighborhood host, Aisha Jordan.
Holland.
How does that fall
Aisha Jordan Holland.
What's the name of the lady from Powerpuff Girls with no head?
Sarah Bellum.
Yeah.
Sarah.
She's often behind the chair of the mayor.
That's true. So Francis,
I can't think of anybody else behind chairs. Sure, why not?
Well, we want to welcome you to the podcast, the Entertainment Nerd Podcast for the nerd affiliate to the nerd expert, where we answer the question, should I even watch that, or what the hell did I just watch? And we're going to get into some really great stuff. So we have some nerdy leaks. We're going to talk a little bit about the corporations that control our happiness and what's going on with them. Movies that we can't go see. And TV shows that wrapped just in time for all of this. And then a look forward into the MCU. And we will be reviewing, no spoilers, the show I Am Not Okay With This. Mike's going to help us with that. And then we will be doing a no spoilers and Spoilae review of the first 2 episodes of Westworld. So if you're wondering if you should get into this season, not quite sure yet, we'll have a no spoilers. If you've watched it and you're like, God, I need someone to talk to about this, keep listening for the Spoilae. And for fun, since we've all seen this movie now, we're going to do a spoilers review of Frozen 2. So, hey, why not? You know? And then we're going to go into some recommendations for binging during your quarantine time. So that's really important. Keep listening towards the end.
Do I have one hell of a recommendation for you, Aisha?
For me?
Yup.
Oh, my goodness. Well, let's wash our hands and get started. And don't touch your face.
Lather up.
Lather up. All right. So first things first, I kind of give this, I made France do some homework on this because I heard this a couple weeks ago, or not a couple weeks, maybe a week ago, that like a ridiculous amount of CEOs have stepped down from some very, very big corporations. Oh my God. So we kind of want to see who those CEOs are and kind of talk about what are the implications of this. So France, what did you find out?
Well, it's like mad captains of industry. Mad captains of industry done ducked out. And a lot of it was
over a short period of time.
I'm talking about between December to now, and and like it's spiked in December, but my goodness, and it's across industry. So like one that's like not type random is Lockheed Martin. So their CEO left. Lockheed Martin is the world's largest, I want to say, arms manufacturer.
Lockheed Martin?
Yeah, so
don't worry. This will come back around to nerd stuff. I promise.
Facts. Well, if you rock with Metal Gear, then you know everything about Lockheed Martin. But so
they never say Lockheed Martin, do they?
They don't say.
They wink at the screen.
Wink, nudge, DARPA.
DARPA chief.
Decoy octopus. Anyway, so Nokia's CEO also stepped down.
Nokia?
Yeah, which is
they still exist.
And they got the phones is indestructible. I was like, they stepped down. Salesforce, mad random.
Yo, Salesforce is serious though. That's like one of the biggest corporations in America that nobody knows is the biggest corporation.
I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Yo, Salesforce takes care of like, I don't even know the highest percentage of people's like payrolls.
Yeah.
And like so any type of like tech company, like Salesforce probably does their payroll stuff.
So all the people who run your tech usually get paid through Salesforce.
And anybody who does things like after school programs and some schools use Salesforce to organize their like payroll, but also like work, like instead of what's it called?
We talking about clocking in?
Yeah, instead of like Microsoft Outlook and stuff like that, like they'll use Salesforce. It's like their communication device and like clocking in, timesheets, everything.
All right. You're about to get to names that we might know though now?
Nah, first it's gonna be Uber Eats.
Wait, well, the CEO of Uber Eats
we know
specifically?
That.
Yes. I was like, that's so mad random. I was like, but again, back to the important stuff. So Bob Iger of Disney.
Yeah. We knew he was stepping down. Did he step down before he was supposed to though?
No, the way they put it was that it was something so far in planning that it seemed out of nowhere, which sounds like bullshit to me, but it's whatever. But I'm sure it was planned because a lot of companies do have that. That's like typically a huge plan in general. Outside of the 11.
It was definitely planned because I know that they were talking when they were trying to finalize the Fox deal that he wanted to get that done before he stepped down.
Well, and then there were the 11 that stepped down because of like Me Too stuff. But I was like, outside of that, the Bob Iger thing is like kind of a big deal for a few reasons. One, it's Disney. Two, he stepped down. Two, there's this whole background murmur around whether or not it was actually corona related, which is strange in general. But it brings us back into focus when the stocks dropped for Disney at the same time, such an extreme drop, and Bob Iger was leaving, which left the only company, kind of the big company that's not as affected, Apple, started eyeballing Disney stock. And then that rumor came up that like they're looking into acquiring Disney if they could while the getting was good, which is a frightening proposition. Just frightening.
All things said, though, the CEO of Disney stepping down at the same time as all these other CEOs made it seem pretty suspicious.
And Bill Gates. Bill Gates stepped down too, finally.
Mm-hmm.
That was outrageous to me, too. I'm like, he was still the CEO?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But then, like, also everything with the stock market that's going on, you're just like, okay. Y'all were like, let me get out of here before shit really hits the fan. It just seemed...
I hope they saved enough so that they can get through the long winter ahead.
Exactly. What are they going to do
funny.
with their lost wages at this point?
Yeah. I don't know if the juiciest part of that is, for our listeners, most likely, is that prospect of Apple possibly acquiring Disney. It's funny because we talked about how Disney was putting together its coffers to buy Fox, and we've talked about how maybe they could buy Spider-Man back from Sony or just buy Sony, and here's Apple's like, should I just buy half the planet? Or like they could easily just buy Disney, and that means scoop up everything.
I don't know. I don't think that would even be smart on Apple's point of view. Well, because that's like, not saying that's a lot of work, but that's like a lot of work. Like, you're now in charge of the world, basically.
Well, yeah. The thing is, Apple's devices are everywhere. So if they also had the content that would go on those devices, makes a lot of sense.
That just pissed a lot of people off, though, because Apple's the only one who's like the most exclusive type of thing. Like, every Android user would be like, fuck you. And then every time you would have to get Apple TV Plus to watch anything. Like, I can't. I don't think it's a good idea.
But not to get too into it, the thing is, though, a lot of the shit that Apple's been doing the last couple of generations of phones is tech from Samsung. So
yeah. But they have such a closed network. You know what I mean? Like, there's apps that we can't get as Android because they're on Apple's store.
It's less of an issue now as when it was when they first dropped the iPhones and stuff. But I see what you're saying. Like, it's still the go-to for like people trying to be with the wave instead of the actual practical, better, or at least more flexible tech. I won't say better, because there are stuff that iPhones do very well. The point is, if they already control or have in the pockets and the homes of people the device in which to convey the media, if they could just buy right now the happiest place on digital earth, I mean, it does make sense. It is scary though.
I guess
it is.
It's just they have such that that I'm alone. You can only do this with my stuff mentality that I feel like they would keep going forward with that. And that would just piss me off.
It would be frightening for them to have 41% of the box office. That's what frightens me. 41% of the box office and the larger quantity of computers out in the world. Like, that would be a conglomerate that would not be touched for quite some time.
Honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. Like, I really don't. Anyway. Well, I know. So the next thing that's in this same vein with things changing, the world is different, what's normal, a bunch of movies got pushed, and some movies are even going to be released digitally instead of even going to the theaters, which I don't even know what that means. One, I know for me, James Bond is getting pushed to like November 25th. So like it's now a Thanksgiving's Day movie.
Yep.
And it's not coming out in April, which is probably smart on their part. But the only other one I heard of, and maybe you guys have more movies, was Black Widow. I heard that that's going to be released on Disney Plus. Don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I heard.
I haven't heard that they finalized that idea yet, but it is still very possible. I know Wonder Woman got pushed to August 10th, I think.
Yeah, Patty Jenkins was on Twitter today talking about it.
Yeah, yesterday Gal Gadot posted about that too. And
everyone's saying Gal Gadot.
She's not French.
I've heard it pronounced both ways.
Not by her.
What does she say? She says Gal Gadot.
I like how none of us ever heard her say her name.
I don't know. Like, what?
At the Oscars, it was like Gal Gadot.
Okay, Zendaya, Rihanna.
That's what I said, but I don't fucks with her enough to give her the double pronunciation I usually do. So
that's true. That's true.
That's Gal a sign Gadot. Of respect.
Gal Gadot. Yeah, she said August 10th or something like that. Fast 9 got pushed back.
Didn't it get pushed back like a whole year or something?
Yes.
Dang.
Yes, which is crazy. Other big releases that got pushed back or up, depending on how you look at it, Onward.
Oh, I thought that actually already came out.
It
came out, but it's going to go to digital release like in a couple weeks instead of, down the line.
Let's make some money.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to think of what other like major release.
Well, what happened to, because we were supposed to be reviewing A Quiet Place 2.
Oh, A Quiet Place 2, right. A Quiet Place 2 got pushed back. And
what about Mulan?
And Mulan, yes, and Mulan.
Okay.
And New Mutants again.
Oh my God!
And New Mutants again. Yes, the the most delayed movie of all time.
I think it might be up there, actually, as one of the most delayed movies of all time.
See, that one, they should just say, you know what? Fuck it. Hulu Plus. Let's go. Hulu. Just throw the Hulu.
They definitely should just put that one on release. Like, I would get Pushing Black Widow. Okay.
Everybody would watch that shit if it was on Hulu right now.
Yeah.
Dead ass.
Drop that shit on Friday. It'll drop it. It'll be the Avatar of fucking digital releases.
I would watch that on SD DVD.
Fuck it.
That would crash the servers. Like, that's how I feel.
It would.
Oh my God. No,
it would.
No way. Y'all wild.
New Mutants?
No.
Yes, it would.
He's right, because look what's happening. That guy who's the DJ, D Nice, that like not everybody knew who he was, did a digital party, and freaking Michelle Obama shows up, Oprah, like all these people are showing up digitally.
Now everybody's doing one.
Right. Like,
now everybody's doing an online IG Live party mix.
Everybody's just waiting for something digital to pop up and be like, oh. So like my friend, shout out to friends. I know I didn't say coworkers because we're all working basically alone right now.
You haven't shouted out coworkers in a minute.
In a long time.
I've been holding that down.
We went remote.
Shout out to Jen.
It's hard to have like a regular conversation with someone that's not planned in a meeting.
I know.
But yeah, so my friend's birthday happened, and she was like, because it's this whole situation, she was getting videos of people to say happy birthday. She reached out to some like music artists, some pretty famous music artists, like Bobby McFerrin's daughter, to be like, will you send my wife a birthday message? And then they did.
Oh, that's awesome.
Word, shout out to Madison McFerrin. That's what's up.
See what motherfuckers do when they got time in their hands? You got Patrick Stewart reading a sonnet a night. You got LeVar Burton. You got LeVar Burton trying to collab with Neil Gaiman to read his shit online, reading Rainbow Style. You see what happens when motherfuckers got time?
That's fire.
Great.
I can't. It's amazing though. So
speaking of birthdays, shout out to Lexi. It's her 9th birthday today.
Oh my God.
Yes. My little monster's already 9.
Happy birthday.
9.
Did she have a digital cake? Oh my God, cake slice emoji.
She's actually, for the first time, she's baking her own damn cake. Right as we speak.
That is even more fun.
Yeah.
I actually bought cupcake batter just because we're stuck in this. And I was like, I might make cupcakes.
Ooh.
I don't know. We'll see. All right. So that's what's happening. Check out your streaming stuff. See what's coming out. I know we're all just like sitting by Netflix anyway, so...
Yeah, but you only mentioned like movies that got delayed. There's a lot of TV shows that got delayed.
TV shows got delayed?
Yeah.
What
all
TV show?
the Disney Plus Marvel stuff, all of that production got halted that wasn't already done. So like the Loki series, the WandaVision joint, all that's been put on hold indefinitely.
Yeah.
Until
it's been really sad
this stuff is resolved. What do you call it? I'm trying to think. There was another show, a big time show that they had to stop production because of this. It's not coming to me. It'll probably come to me later in the episode. But yeah, this thing is affecting Hollywood on the little and the big screens.
That's true. I just kept thinking about release dates, but anybody who was in production have to stop. There's just no way they could keep filming. And even people who are like, doing smaller productions, like if # the show was still in production, I don't know what we would have done. We're not a big studio and stuff like that. We would have to pay people their money, and then
I can't even imagine how you would go about even doing a show right now. Like,
exactly.
It's so difficult, and we're not a sports podcast, but there's no sports. The Olympics got delayed for a year. So there's that too.
The Olympics got delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
I can't believe that. Well, speaking of delayed things, one of the shows that just made it before this whole national emergency was The Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So they wrapped filming, which is
they wrapped
one.
most of their filming.
What? Oh, I guess that's true. They can't do reshoots and stuff.
No, I mean, we'll get to, wink, wink, wink. Other stuff they still need to shoot.
Ooh. Well, yeah, because Rosario Dawson's on the roster now.
Yeah.
Do we know who she's playing?
Yeah. She's playing the Padawan god body Ahsoka Tano.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
No longer a Padawan.
You don't know what the fuck she is. She's just a white
Great Force user.
No, she's not even great for it, but she's like a dual lightsaber wielding badass.
Huh.
And, fans, Boss Logic, one of our favorite digital artists.
Yeah.
He, years ago, because fans are like, oh, imagine a grown-up Ahsoka, what would she look like? And he put together a Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. And
wait, he did that years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, because fans were like, yo, she might be good for this. And then Rosario Dawson herself was like, hell yeah. And years later,
here we are.
Now she's actually cast as Ahsoka Tano.
I swear to God, Jon Favreau's just like scouring the internet and like the recesses of his mind for all his friends and being like, do you want to be in Mandalorian? That's a great idea. Oh, look at this drawing. Let's get her.
Well,
legit.
Yeah.
Don't even try to audition. He's already got a list of friends.
Or
don't you dare audition.
Don't do it.
You already in. Don't fuck it up by trying.
Just tag Boss Logic and you good.
Yeah. Boss Logic, could you draw me as...
Deadass.
And then just send that to casting directors?
He's like the Oracle. And just draw me as, and it will happen.
Wait, this is me as...
It will happen.
Sister Knight's daughter.
Something else getting pushed back is Tyrese's tears. Just want to put that out there.
Are you sure? It seems like they've been pushed forward.
Wait. What about Tyrese's tears?
That's the next thing that got pushed back.
That's fine.
That, and then he never got to be Green Lantern.
Oh, right.
Was he supposed to be Green Lantern?
But there was a whole thing that Boss Logic stirred up by drawing Tyrese as Green Lantern.
Yo, burn that one. No.
Why Tyrese? I don't know.
I disagree.
But just the whole world's been put on pause with this, and I don't know what's going to come up from the other side. I'm not going to lie.
Exactly.
In my head, I'm not a screenwriter or whatever, but I imagine in my head there's a group of people that, as we're recording this, said, fuck it. They snuck away and they're filming something to drop on the other side of this. You know what I mean? Like, they're filming right now the Quarantine
Closed
Chronicles. Set. Yeah. They're filming the next big thing as we speak, saying, fuck social distancing, let's take this risk, because on the other side of this, that's going to be the thing.
They're going to be the number one. Yeah.
I know that they're out there, man.
Essential people only. That's what it is.
That could be the title of it. I don't know.
Well, we'll see what happens. One of the things I do know that's happening, apparently, Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be in Thor 4. That's hard to say.
Thor 4.
Okay. Well, I guess one of my questions is, what's up with that? And is Thor the new, Cap movies? Because you know how, Captain America was, in between the Avenger movies, but, kept having Avengers in it? And you kept being like, oh, yeah, what was it? Not Winter Soldier, whatchamacallit? Civil War. I was like, yeah, Avengers 2 or 3 or whatever. And you're like, wait, no, that was just a Captain America movie.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Is Thor the new? Well, considering he's the only remaining
Avenger,
OG Avenger from the MCU who still has an ongoing series of movies on his own. Yeah, I could see how they might lean more onto those as the lead up major tent poles to the bigger event movies. I could see that. I mean, could we talk a little bit about how we know the Guardians are going to be in Thor 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Vin Diesel can't keep his fucking mouth shut. He dropped.
Oh yeah.
A lot of information.
Wild joints.
Yeah. He's like, I might get in trouble for this. I'm like, shut the fuck up, Iron Giant.
He's like the on purpose Mark Ruffalo.
Right? I mean, but he's much more physically imposing, I guess.
They're like, whatever, just let him do what he wants.
You could press Mark and you could press, your boy Tom Holland.
You can't press Tom.
You can press Tom.
You just withhold from Tom. You don't press him. You're like, I'm not giving you anything.
Why was that oddly erotic? You withhold from Tom. Anyway, the thing, Vin Diesel, he said 2 interesting nuggets of information that Marvel and Taika Waititi and no one really denied. He said that the Guardians will be in Thor 4. To what capacity? To what extent? I don't know. And
Right.
then he even dropped a nugget for Guardians Volume 3, which which wasn't supposed to start filming until like next year,
Right.
after the whole run of the Suicide Squad.
Oh.
He said I got, it's not going to be a baby Groot. It's not going to be a teenage Groot.
Oh,
He said, I got 2 words for you. Alpha Groot.
What does that even mean?
I'm going to let France.
This is the Groot that from the comic books that speaks in full sentences. Groot, people who don't know that Groot is he's like a prince on his way to be king of his own people.
He is royalty on his planet.
Right.
Gasp.
Like he's the real deal. He's just as smart and as tactician as he is brave and beautiful and cute. I was like, so Alpha Groot turns up like for the Guardians. Like they become a real badass squad that can't be stopped at that point.
So basically, he's like Pokemon evolved into Alpha Groot.
He's the Eevee. He's the Eevee of.
He's Groot has always been, even in small baby form, been able to beat people's asses. Now he can spit bars with the best of them as he does so.
Wow, so much more talkback is gonna happen.
I don't want too much talk back. I don't want the motherfucker, spitting soliloquies while, wrapping tree trunks around 8 people's necks and choke slamming all of them at the same time. I don't want to see that.
No,
I kind of do.
But I think it's gonna be more like when Hulk started talking. You were like, "What?" And then
that was great.
Now he's like, "Yeah, that'll be work." And then like maybe later it'll be like Mark Ruffalo Hulk, where he's like eating breakfast at a diner and having lots of eggs,
sharing tacos.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be Guardians
Groot.
of the Galaxy like 5.
I stopped looking at Groot as a problem. I started seeing him as the solution.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So before we get started on our no spoilers reviews of things, I kind of want to go into a little bit of information for you all. So during these unprecedented times, artists and freelancers are losing money in real time. And we hope you're reaching out to see how you can help. Now, you can donate to artists like us who continue to do digital work and try to keep spirits up as people are so isolated in these times. Or you can look up sites like COVID-19 Freelance Artist Resources. There's a site where you can see how you can contribute, or if you are an artist looking for resources to help you keep going and doing your work. For us, you can donate at 2nerdsandinactor.com. Again, anywhere from $1 to $100 or monthly if you want to give a lot, but a little bit over a long period of time. All of your donations will go towards keeping, our sound editor paid, because they're another person who works by gigs and things like that. So that's one thing. And then it also keeps us running while so many other things are shutting down right now. And if you are short on cash, as many people are right now, but you want to see us get some earned dollars, we need exposure. So if you're stuck online and listening, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the podcast to get us on the board and get those algorithms working in our favor. And even better, write a review. Tell your friends. Hashtag 2Nerds and an actor. Let us know that you've written a review. Give us good marks. What is it? Like all the stars. That kind of thing.
Thumbs up.
And if you're a blogger, again, we say this every time, write about us on your platform, share it, let us know so we can shout you out an episode and send people to your review. With every episode that we get a new review or a new donation, we'll bring it up during the show so you can get your name out there, because you never know who is listening. And we definitely want to appreciate you if you are supporting us in all this time. So hope that you are staying safe, staying healthy, and helping out your fellow artists, because there's some of the people who are getting hit the hardest with all the closures and cancellations.
Let us love you.
You should let me love you. Let me be the one.
Okay, off key.
Give you... No, I was on key.
No, I'm saying you should be off key.
What?
So Mario doesn't show up like you're.
I am a singer. Anyways.
Blueface Mario.
All right. So let's just jump right into it. I'm excited for this because we have not watched I Am Not Okay With This. So I'm ready to hear at least a little bit about it. But because no one has really said anything about it. Like, it came out before all this really started going down.
Right.
And I haven't heard anyone be like, this is good or this is bad. So
That's true.
Mike is going to give us a no spoilers review.
No spoiler.
Yeah, so
No
keep
spoiler, but you've
listening
seen
if
it,
you
did it?
haven't seen it.
I did. I watched all the episodes. I think it were like 8 or 10 episodes. They were short. They were
Nice.
20. They were like 22 minutes each. You know, like it wasn't a 45-minute an episode thing. You know.
Oh.
So if it was very short. But no spoiler. Basically, you guys put me onto it with the trailer, so I was like, okay, let me watch an episode when I had like time. And when the episode finished 22 minutes in, I was like, oh shit, these are short. I could watch this and whatever.
Just do it right now.
So the first couple of episodes, I saw it over the course of I think like 2 days because I watched like half and then I watched the other half.
Right.
The first half of it, I think there's like 8 episodes, whatever. Point is, first half of it, I was like, the acting is good. I was like, the acting is good. The pacing is good. And there's a cliffhanger every fucking episode. So this is another one of those shows where they did a really good job ending at a point where you kind of like, fuck, play? I'm here. So that was good. But don't get me wrong. This wasn't like, because this is based on a comic book.
Oh, okay.
A comic book that I'm not familiar with, as I think I mentioned when we talked about the trailer before.
Mm-hmm.
This was not on the level of like The Boys watchable or Umbrella Academy watchable. It was good,
Right.
but I think it's worth me bringing it up because this is one of those series that's short, not a long investment. It gets much better the second half.
Okay.
And the finale really leaves you like, yo, what the fuck? Like, out of all those other comic book series, I think this is the one where the most I want to actually read the comic because of how this ended. And I think that's interesting. So for folks looking for something that it touches a lot upon representation, dealing with loss, dealing with social anxiety and shit like that. Teen angst a lot, like you like to say, Aisha.
Yeah, that's real.
But with a little bit more variety when it comes to representation of certain things. If you're looking for that, then this is, it's not a huge investment, especially if you're quarantined.
Right.
I say give it a view. It has all the It kids, not all, but it has prominently 2 of the It kids.
Right.
And across the board, the acting is pretty good. So, it's funny, but it has these moments of like real, not dark humor, but like really intense moments that balance it out really well. And it ends in a way that you're like, yo, like I'm going to track down the series and read it because I just want to get ahead of it. I really do want to know what the fuck it was that I saw.
Well,
so
you said...
I think it's worth watching.
You said representation. What kind do you mean? Like, without giving anything away, is it like rah ladies?
Sorry.
Or like, is that's spoilers?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
what?
now I'm really intrigued. No.
A little bit. So.
At first, I thought you were doing your version of like, it was a movie. Because
the first half of it felt like that. It felt like that. But since there were only 22 minutes a pop, I didn't feel that like I don't want to finish this.
Right.
But the second half of it definitely arcs up, gets a little better, introducing some different characters, and then you start getting some answers. And yeah, it was pretty good. It was good.
I'm kind of scared now that you're saying this ending is like leaving you, because that's how I felt when I first saw Lord of the Rings, and I literally ran to the bookstore and bought the book immediately. So
again, I don't want you to think I'm saying this shit is on the same level as The Boys, which was great from beginning to end,
right?
Or Umbrella Academy, or other comic book series. I'm not saying this was that good,
right?
I'm saying for a shorter, more digestible series,
right?
This was pretty good.
Keeping it no spoiler. What I would say, so what's the vibe of the first half? And then what's the vibe of the second half?
The vibe of the first half is establishing all the shit that makes the main character uneasy. vibe of the second half is her embracing those things and trying to, like, instead of just complaining about the problems, she's trying to find the solution more actively in a way that you're kind of like, okay, good, this is moving it along. It's not going to drag it out.
So it's like Stranger Things and It put together.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, yeah, it kind of is in terms of how the plot flows. Like I said, I like the acting. It's silly at times in terms of like how the characters try to deal with certain situations. There's one of my favorite scenes is kind of like a heist, you know, but it's grounded in like this 80s type of John Hughes school
you
thing.
had me at John Hughes, bro.
Yeah, like it felt like that. So it was good. Like, I'm not saying, again, don't go into this thinking that Mike said this is the most fire fuego thing. No, but
the most fuego shit ever.
This is pretty good. It's good.
Well, we definitely all have plenty of time, so
yeah, I'm like,
we're gonna watch it.
It'll take you 3.5 hours, maybe.
We'll be entertained for sure. I love how France brought in the vibe. He's like, we gotta get the kids in on this vibes.
You know,
it's
speaking
important.
of the vibes and speaking of having 3.5 hours,
France is shaking his head.
I'm actually happy that Release the Snyder Cut kind of slowed down.
My
that shit was
God.
Because
annoying.
if there was ever a time to do it,
stop this.
it'd be right the fuck now. I mean, seriously, you got everybody home.
I'm a part of the team that thinks that it actually doesn't exist.
No, it exists.
Flat earthers.
It exists. Yeah, exactly, Aisha. At this point, you're a flat earther if you think it doesn't exist. It does.
We're going to offend someone I know very badly.
Well, good. No. I love Mike's face. I'm so glad that. So, for anyone who is listening, we're using Zoom so that we can have this actual real time conversation, but you know, record. And like, as soon as you said you were gonna make someone mad, his face was like, "The fuck."
Yeah, I gave the fuck face. I'm like, who's in your BlackBerry? Who's in your Rolodex that would be offended if that you outed them as a flat earther? You know Kyrie?
They'll respond. No, they'll respond.
You boys are Kyrie?
Shout out to P.O.
Oh, you said a shout out. Okay. We'll have to let our sound editor know if that needs to be edited out.
Copy.
No, keep that shit in. Pause.
All right.
No. That wasn't for the sound editor. Pause was not for you. Keep recording. Keep it going. I'm just saying.
Keep it going. Yes.
You're not making it better, Aisha. Stop it.
I'm sorry. All right. As we keep the drama going, we're going to go into our no spoilers review of Westworld episodes 1 and 2.
Season 3.
If you haven't watched it yet, because I do know there's been a few people wondering if they should get into it. So we'll talk a little bit about our first feelings and whatnot, and then you can decide, okay, let me do it now, or maybe I should wait. Okay. So episodes 1 and 2. My question is, what's up with the Better Call Saul guy? Do you think... Oh, wait. No, sorry. Let me go back.
Aaron Paul.
Yeah, there's his name, Aaron Paul. What do you feel... Sorry, I don't want to give too much away so that we don't...
He's in the trailers.
He is. But do you think that this season has the intrigue as other seasons have had?
Nah, you can't get it. The intrigue is not going to be here if you didn't see the other seasons. It's cool, but there's so much history into why every single thing is happening. You could try to jump in on here, but you're going to feel like you got left out of a conversation.
No. I'm not saying, I would never say get into this season without saying. I'm saying, is it just as intriguing as seasons 1 and 2? Because there's so much new things happening, it's hard for some people to jump into it.
Even more so in the narrative and the visuals. They're stepping it into a different realm. Not even better or worse, just a totally different realm. It's super intriguing.
So, non-spoilae, to answer your question, I agree with France. I think it's even more intriguing because basically the first episode that you see it's still very much grounded in all the things we've learned to look for in Westworld. But it's done in a way that the first episode felt like a different show. Like I felt like I was in a good way.
Yeah.
It felt like a different show, still playing with all the rules set up in the first two, mind-fuckingly amazing seasons of Westworld. So that's what I was to say about in terms of your question.
Okay. I agree. I think for me, it's always new territory every time a Westworld season happens, even if it is tightly
Every
connected.
2 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's been so long between seasons, so you're already excited about it. But two, it always seems like they're introducing a new world, which is extremely hard to do in a TV show, which just shout out to some ones that have done it, like The Good Place did that a bunch. Every season, it was like there's a whole different world that you're being thrown into. But that's what is intriguing about it. So we're almost seeing like somewhat brand new characters, besides the new characters who are actually being introduced, with what's his name again?
Aaron Paul.
Todd.
Jesse Pinkman.
He is an Academy Award winning Pinkman. All right. He's won Emmys.
And then what's his name? I know you know his name, France. The guy from Ocean's 12.
Oh, Vincent Castle.
Yes. Oh, very exciting that he's a part of it too. And just seeing how
he was
in the trailer.
No. But who does he play?
He plays the Night Fox.
Oh, right.
In the Ocean trilogy. So he's the French.
No, I mean in Westworld, who is he?
Oh, do we even know?
Yes.
Is that spoilers?
It's in the trailer. You talking about the guy in white?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Say less.
All right.
We'll talk about it in the spoiler.
Yeah.
But I just love that actor, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I love him. I love that. I think he's Scottish guy with the scars in the face. That's in episode 1 of Westworld.
Wait, with the scars in the face.
The guy, he's like Scottish or something. The bodyguard guy.
Oh, the bodyguard guy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like him too. That's true.
I always call him Mad Nerd Marvel reference. I always call him Black Tom because I always imagine that's who he'd play.
Yeah. He would play the shit out of a Black Tom Cassidy. All due respect to the Deadpool 2 portrayal of Black Tom Cassidy. Of MAGA hat wearing Black Tom Cassidy.
But yeah. So either way, I say anyone out there who's like, should I get into it? I mean, I will say this, and maybe you guys agree, ask you guys, that it's one of the shows this season that I might want to watch more than one at a time. That's how I'm feeling so far. I don't know. How do you guys feel?
I mean, yeah, definitely. The way this is the first time for me, because I think we've watched Westworld as it happened. The first time that I'm in a space where it's starting to do the cliffhanger ending in a much similar way to other shows. Before, it would just have these wild ethical quandaries that you'd just be like, yo, my God, what is life? And now it's like, I wish I could just press play again. I want to know what happens next. It's intriguing in a totally different way now.
Yeah, Al, shout out to Al. He ended up, I was surprised because I've been talking to him about Westworld for 5 years, 6, whatever it's been. And I told him, I said, look, bro, this is Lost with a payoff. I was like, bro, watch this. And he was like, ah. And then out of nowhere, motherfucker watched the 2 seasons of Westworld in like a couple of days.
Wow.
So, yeah, like Al right there probably could have cured diseases like by just touching him because his brain must have been...
He accessed that part like in Limitless.
Yeah, he digested 2 seasons of Westworld in a matter of days. So going into season 3, he's feeling like you guys. He's like, yeah, I'm going to watch it 2 at a time.
Yeah.
I can't do that because I don't trust the internet enough.
That's fair.
And I kind of Westworld. I've said this in the past. Westworld is one of those shows that I, shut the world down. I put the phone on the side. It's not one of those shows that I just have playing and I feel like I could keep up. I respect frame by frame of this show.
Yeah.
And because I don't want it to get the better of me.
Yeah.
Without me trying. You know what I mean? So it's not one of those shows that I could give a week, ahead. I can't do that, but I totally get it. And I'm saying that Al felt the same way as you guys do.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do it. I used to have to do it for Game of Thrones before it started sucking. So I might do that again. Yeah. All right, before we get into the no spoilers, I think we should take a break.
Okay.
It's like, give a word from our sponsors.
They're out there somewhere.
So instead, you can imagine which sponsors we have while you go wash your hands. Oh my gosh. We should put this song during this break from Royal Caribbean. So there's this song that Royal Caribbean plays. No, listen.
I don't want to be associated with cruise ships right now.
No. Listen, it's good. It makes sense. So when you go on a cruise ship, it doesn't matter what time it is, Corona or not or whatever. They have this song that plays over and over and over again called Wash Your Hands. It literally talks about washing your hands for 20 seconds or more. It's like, make your mom proud, wash your hands. And then this one line that I love, it goes, wash your hands like 50 times a day.
50 times a day?
Literally.
Just give me metal claws. Stainless steel.
The first time we heard it, my sister was like, you heard this song? Like, wash your hands like 50 times a day. I was like, you made that up. She was like, no.
That's big Purell. That's big hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
That's their money in art form, Wash your hands 50 or 100 times a motherfucking day. Wash your hands.
Yeah. We'll play that music during the break. All right. But for real, we're going to take a break. When you come back, we're going to do...
Wait, we are in the break. What do you mean? Don't confuse the guy.
No.
We're keeping this?
In. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Well.
All right. We'll be back.
Wash your hands and make your mother proud. And maybe you can join the popular crowd. Wash your hands like 50 times a day. Oh, yeah. Hey, wash your hands. Wash your hands.
And we're back. Thank you, everyone, for taking that time to be healthy and safe. Washing your hands. Yay. Before we get into our spoilers review, again, we are spoiling?
Yes. Spoiling. Yes.
We're spoiling Westworld episodes 1 and 2
of season 3.
Of season 3, sorry, yes. And the movie Frozen 2.
The much anticipated 2 Nerds and an Actor full Spoilae take on Frozen 2.
That's all they've been waiting for. It's now streaming. So
that's right.
All right. Before we jump into that, as we all are, social distancing, staying inside, trying not to get anyone sick, or recovering if we are ourselves sick. Hopefully you are not. Everyone's talking about what to binge because that's all we can do. So I thought it'd be a good time for us to say what we are binging right now, just currently. Or if you're not binging something, what you're planning to binge maybe this week or next week.
Got it.
So I'm going to start, and I don't know if France has the same one because we binge things together, but we've been watching Avenue 5 on HBO.
Oh, right. That's that show with the guy that looks like Raymond.
What? The guy, you're talking about the guy who was in The Office?
No.
He looks like
Wait. You know what? I'm thinking of 40. I'm thinking of the okay. HBO had this show on 42nd Street that was happening recently.
Talking about The Deuce.
I'm talking about The Deuce.
Oh, wait. Who looks like Ray?
Is Mark Anthony on that show?
Who? No, not Mark Anthony.
Oh, he's talking about What's his
James
name?
Franco?
James Franco?
Yeah, Ray kind of
What?
sometimes looks like James Franco.
Fuck out of
That
here.
is
All right,
hilarious.
Mima thinks so. She calls him Raymond.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I'm serious.
That makes sense.
Well, no, it's Avenue 5 is the one with Hugh Laurie, and they're on a cruise ship in space.
Right. Okay. Yes. All right. Yes.
Yeah. For me, I say it is worth the binge. To be honest, I don't know if all the episodes are available, but there's a bunch of them available, so technically it's a binge.
How much constitutes a binge?
That's a great
I want to
question.
say like 3 or 4 consecutive episodes.
Is a binge?
Yeah.
I would say at least 75% of a season, however long it is a binge. Anything
I
less
think
than
that is
that
fair.
is not a binge.
I think that's
So
fair.
if it's like a 4-part series and you watch 3 of them, you have binged. You watch 2, you have delved, but not binged.
Yo, that's legit. We should put that in the notes, like, so everybody's aware.
So that now you know.
No, you know. Well, I say it is worth it. Do it. It's freaking hilarious. Especially like now we're all like trapped inside. They're
I was
kind
going to
of
say,
trapped
aren't
in a
they
cruise.
quarantined on like a space cruise ship?
They're almost quarantined. Like, I mean, this isn't a giveaway or anything, but basically,
It's in the trailer.
In the trailer, they're thrown off course, so they're on the cruise ship much longer than anticipated.
Right. Yeah.
So it's really fun to watch.
You
things
ain't going
unfold.
for a walk outside.
Exactly.
No.
France, do you have one that you want to do?
I've been binging a documentary series on Netflix called Dirty Money.
Woo.
Damn. It's just exposed. It's everybody's receipts. If you rich, they got your receipts and they airing them out on Netflix for the binge.
Around the world too. Like, it's not just like Americans.
What's that joint from Family Guy, Blue Harvest? And if that doesn't make you mad, it's like listening to talk radio. It's so angering. It's the way they just really, they show you this big thing and they show you how it connects to you.
So it connects. It's all money. There's not like a Dirty Money of Atlanta, where it's like dirty with a Z money.
Dirty money.
Dirty money.
Dirty
Dirty.
money
Yeah.
of Atlanta.
And then the emoji with the money coming out of the mouth.
Right. Sure. Yes.
Nah, they got
This is
they
everybody's
like,
money. Okay. All right.
Word. They're like, oh, word, you used to run drugs in Colombia? Say less. I'm gonna show you what happened. You go interviews, and I'm gonna show you how it connects to the person watching it right now. I'm like, God, jeez.
But it's mainly like people who are in power too. So like the ones that I found really interesting were like in Canada, there was a big heist of maple syrup, because maple syrup is like gold to them. They have like literally a country reserve of maple syrup. And so it talks about like how that gets dirty money and like the stealing that went into that and like all that.
Sticky money.
Legit.
Okay. Anything else you've been binging, France? Or
Oh man, yeah, I binged McMillions, which is another documentary about money trails.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of money things.
A lot of plans you got going on there, France? With
Listen, Burger King don't gotta know nothing.
you want Burger King money?
We're just taking notes because all these people be getting away with shit, and we're the ones who are trying to follow rules for some reason.
Yeah, McMillions is the story about how white people have way different consequences than everybody else.
They have what?
Way different consequences.
Oh, you mean by having none?
I was about to be like, you can say that again.
At times, I feel like their only consequences are on TikTok videos.
Oh my God.
I just
can't.
alienated our audience. I'm sorry.
What, yeah, TikTok is where it's at.
But you tickled me.
All right, Mike, what are you binging or planning to binge?
So what I'm trying to do is set up, like digital viewing parties with my close significants,
Ooh.
because we used to do that a lot more often back in the day. So Christian lately has been, shout out to Christian, has been a binge buddy, and we're trying to find movies, like obscure movies we haven't seen before, or popular movies that we haven't seen before, and they just so happen now to be releasing digitally.
Right.
So the first movie that we watched was a 4-year-old movie starring Michelle Rodriguez on Netflix.
Was it Girl Fight?
No, it was
No,
The
he said-
Assignment.
He said 4 years old.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was The Assignment. I will not go into the spoiling of that movie.
Oh my God.
The Assignment.
That I will put up on a paywall. But
What? I don't
Yes.
even think I've heard of this.
well,
You saw a trailer for it. We saw it together. We were like, what?
yeah,
The fuck?
what in the actual fuck? This movie is the most pre Me Too /
Oh.
like equal rights for women trans. This movie is it feels like the most pre 2020 movie of all time. It is. I was watching this and I was like, how did they get Michelle Rodriguez, Sigourney Weaver, Tony Shalhoub
What?
to be in this movie? And they're in this movie.
What?
Yes.
Well, now I
Tony
need to go.
Shalhoub?
It's one of the best worst movies I've ever seen.
We definitely have to do
With
that
an
one.
ending that you are not prepared for.
I'm not prepared for the beginning, so let's do
There
it.
you go. I wasn't prepared for any of it. And me and Christian were just fucking laughing it up.
We should do that one as a
online.
drunk review.
But that's we got to do that. All right, yeah, like I'm trying to set up movies like that. Other than that, what I'm gonna actually rewatch, which I've never done, believe it or not. I'm gonna go back and rewatch Bleach because
Wow.
it was recently announced for the anniversary of it that they're gonna finally finish the final arc of the anime. The anime's been off air for 8 years.
Oh yeah, I think I saw something about this.
Yeah, so they're going to the head. They're gonna bring that back, animate it. Hopefully, they do a great job with it. There's possibly a touring museum, or rather exhibition of Tite Kubo's art, the mangaka of Bleach. That's gonna be, hopefully, we'll see. They said this, during a live broadcast when they were social distancing at the same time. It's going to be in Japan, but the plan is, I'm saying is hopefully, to have that exhibit travel around the world
Okay.
of his artwork from Bleach and his other spin-off series of Bleach called Burn the Witch, which they are also going to serialize on a weekly basis in Shonen Jump
You're not
as a
binging
manga.
none of those.
So
Yes, I am. I'm going to go back and I'm going to rewatch Bleach. Yes, the fuck I am.
Yeah.
I've never done that. And Bleach is my favorite manga of all time. I miss the music. I miss the fucking awesome animation of that series. It's heavily flawed, but it has a style, man.
Yeah,
that-
it was fun.
Listen, you don't just bring back anything after 8 years that it was gone.
no,
Especially when it comes to Japanese anime and manga.
I'm
So
not doing it.
There's a worldwide. No, I'm not telling you to do it. The one I got for you is the one we've been told you to fucking watch.
Oh, don't do
Watch
it.
The Wire.
Nobody knows what he said.
Watch The Wire.
I've seen The Wire. Okay, I've seen it.
You mean like on the streets? Like just no, I mean watch it. Either watch that or watch Breaking Bad. So you stop calling this motherfucker the guy from Better Call Saul. He's like in one episode of that.
Todd.
And he's in all of Breaking Bad. Or call him Todd. Yeah, shit. Aaron Paul. He deserves respect.
I like that guy.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Sometimes while I was watching Westworld, we'll get into it too. I'd be like, he sounds just like Todd.
I'm so upset. I'm so angry right now.
Good times. All right, let's get into our Spoilae. I can't do it right, Mike. Just you got to do it.
Nah, it's Francis' turn to say spoiler.
Oh, okay.
He hasn't said it in a minute.
These are facts. Spoilae!
Yes. So let's get into this. We're gonna start with Frozen 2 because I just feel like it'll be fun. It's really fun.
And it's still fresh in my mind because I saw it last night.
He did. So he just we saw it in the movie theater back when movie theaters were a thing.
Bougie asses.
Alamo Draft House.
Oh,
I miss
come
you.
on.
I miss you so much. Your buffalo cauliflower and your popcorn.
Wow.
It's okay. One day. So Frozen 2. Okay, my question here is, how does it stack up to the first movie? Because remember when the first movie came out, it was literally like, this is the best Disney movie that's ever been made in anyone's lives. Like Lion King never existed. And I was like, what's happening? So how did this second one stack up to the first one's hype?
Well, Frozen 2, aka Christy Yamaguchi's Revenge, was pretty
Frozen on ice.
on ice.
Again.
The remix iced out.
Oh my god.
Iced in.
Oh.
Sorry.
In Harlem. The Harlem All Stars brings you Frozen on ice, iced out.
It's the Harlem Globe. Anyway, it was alright. It was cool. It wasn't nothing special to me.
It was cool. You see,
It wasn't what everybody's water bending. It's whatever.
I know, right?
It was cool. There was a more indigenous representation,
Right.
because they originally came
guess.
out because they
Some
came out.
fictional people.
Well,
I guess.
they came out with the song that opened it, and when they were doing that, working that song out, there was no indigenous people in the story. Those people had to fight to like that tribe who heard the music was like, that's our music. Now put us in the movie.
Well, I mean, Mike is right. They were still fictional. It's just that the native tribe, they signed a contract with them that they would consult them for any native
I think
stuff
those are called
happening.
treaties.
It was the process. Oof. It was the process with which that happened. They made the song first.
Yeah,
and then the
yeah.
people heard the song and they was like, oh, nah, it was good.
All right,
Yeah, no, just saying that the tribe in it isn't a real tribe in the movie.
No one said they were.
The question was, how does this movie stack up to the first one?
He's saying social justice, okay?
The first one,
Civil
which
rights.
broke like all the goddamn records of animation that existed.
I know.
It broke all the records. It had, I will admit, for posterity's sake, this is being recorded and distributed. Okay. I will admit that the Let It Go song was a good song, but severely overrated. Like it was
thank you.
immensely overrated. It was a good song though.
The
Good
fuck
moment.
you mean overrated? No,
It was overrated. Like, I mean,
So-
everybody. Thank God that song came out when it did. You know, when Vines were 6 seconds and not TikToks that are 4 minutes. You know what I mean?
Entire lives.
That was
'Cause
lose
Jesus
yourself for 4-year-olds. You wildin'.
All right, enough. So how does it stack up? I'll say this is full spoiler. Part 1 had one of the more interesting villains in a Disney movie ever. He was
he was
100% a duplicitous fuckboy.
Yeah.
And Curve, that Curve will go down in history. But
Yeah.
Frozen 2 has no antagonist at all except its own privileged history of Arendelle.
Right, yeah.
And
the
they tell
magic in the air
Right.
is the antagonist here.
the Atmos magic.
Yeah.
You know, they managed to tell a good story, but there's like no conflict, like real conflict.
You know, I realized that is what was missing because I was watching it, and I didn't care much for Frozen 1. I was like, this is a movie. I don't know why everyone is dying inside. But for the second one, I was like, also, something is lacking here. And the only thing that I really loved and remembered was Olaf telling stories.
Right.
He told stories through that, and they were freaking hilarious. And then watching the people listening, like, oh my God, what happened? I was like, I need this in my life.
has a Luis from Ant-Man moment where he's recapping the events of Frozen 1.
Yes.
And that scene alone, I think, is worth watching Frozen 2 for. It's hilarious.
Yes. Yeah.
It is fucking hilarious. That and the 80s pop ballad sensation song.
Oh my God.
Wait, which one is
Where
that
is
one?
it when
From
the dude's
your
in the
boy
woods?
Christoph.
Oh my God.
was fucking hilarious.
That was good.
I was upset at how good it was. I was like, why isn't this now the movie? Just him pop ballading through the rest of this.
And then there was like double him in the sky and stuff. That was like
triple him. They did the Queen pose, Bohemian Rhapsody thing with the reindeer.
Yeah.
It was so good.
That was really
so good.
It was.
And that wasn't for the kids.
But no, but there was no conflict. That's why Charmander Jr. was in that. And why people brought machetes to the joint.
They're like, we are the conflict.
Yeah, there was no conflict. So, you know, in terms of any consequence or I kind of wanted Arendelle to fucking drown.
I know. I was like, let's just see what happens.
You know, have a consequence.
And then like the whole time, the one thing that like kept you going in the movie was the fact that like, what's her name? What's the older sister? Elsa's
the ice magic one.
She's like hearing this
Anna
voice.
Is the voice of reason.
Right. So she's hearing this voice and you're like, oh man, like what is it? I really want to know. Is it her mom? Is it like, what is it? And then you go and you're like, it's like fucking you?
It's Harry's Patronus.
Like what?
It was like, Harry's Patronus.
It was the most let down. I was like, okay.
Yeah, the payoff in that was not good.
I was like, it's still an amorphous being that's bothering you?
As far as imagery, I might be revealing too much here. There are a lot of birth canal looking entrances and exits in this movie. A lot of moments of caves, walking into caves, out of caves that look very, very much like wombs.
She's being rebirthed as this new white
I kept
queen
noticing
thing?
it. I could be that I'm quarantined. I'm just saying. I
don't know.
It's there. So a lot of woman empowerment in the movie.
I mean, what was the main song? That's what I'm trying to remember. What was the one?
Fuck it, man. It was Kristoff's song. Kristoff was the main song for me.
It's supposed to be the one that she sings going across the ice.
Right? Was it?
But it was whack.
How did it go?
But it's hard. Again, it's following up.
How far we'll go. Wait, think I'll know. That one?
I'm dying inside.
I
don't remember, but it
it
wasn't as, catchy or whatever.
Exactly. That was the number one thing. I left the theater being like,
as Let It Go.
There's no Let It Go situation. So
it's hard to follow that up.
Yeah, it's true.
What Disney movie sequel, which there are a few, had anywhere near as catchy a song as its originator? Like, I mean, which one?
None. Literally none. But to be honest, Disney, what do you call them? Thirds? Those ones end up being pretty good. So like Lion King 1.5, I heard that was really good.
I've never seen it.
40 Thieves, Aladdin, 40 Thieves. Oh,
yeah,
I love that movie.
They got Robin Williams back.
Yeah, I love that movie. So maybe Frozen 3 will be good. Or it won't happen at all.
I kind of wanted Captain Planet to Thanos onto the scene and just
treat.
Challenge Elsa.
All your singing. And where did it bring you? Back to me.
Back to me.
All right, so let's get into the meaty section of this Spoilae. Westworld. Okay. So what I wanted to say, and I realized it was going to be spoilers, is who is this Todd guy? And is he the new Will?
So who's Aaron Paul's character?
Yeah, and is he the new Will? Because at first in the trailers, I thought that maybe he was going to be like a really integral part of the story, which obviously we don't know. It's only episode 2. But I thought maybe he worked for Westworld or something. But
Turns
it's more
out
like,
no.
yeah,
Right.
She kind of like falls into his arms as she's been shot. And I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing.
Very much like with Will when he runs into her the first. She's a damsel in distress, and this story starts. So to answer that question, for me, I think he plays Caleb. I think Aaron Paul's character's name is Caleb.
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. So what I found interesting from Jump is, okay, so Caleb, similarly, but not really, to like Elsie in season 1 and 2, was kind of like that average person.
Yeah.
Meaning like Westworld was about robots and rich people. Mm-hmm. It was about the elite. and the corruption of the tippity top and their, disdain for those below them and the consequences for that.
Yeah.
But this dude is in the real world, and he's kind of just like, he's not you or me, but he's kind of you and me.
Yeah.
And now what I found really interesting is how he conveyed that struggle.
Yeah.
And how with Dolores falling into his arms and kind of starting a narrative now with him,
right,
for lack of a better term, I feel like we finally get to see, because William wasn't rich himself. He married into money. Oh,
right.
Remember? He married into that. And then he grew into that CEO monster, the Man in Black. So in a way, we're kind of seeing that play out again.
Yeah.
In the sense that at his core, who he has nothing to fall back on himself. Mm-hmm. We're seeing kind of an everyday man, and how the Westworld's politics, science, and all its impact will have on just like a you and me type person. So I think that's really interesting in how they did that.
Yeah. That's why I thought as soon as it happened. And then if you watch like afterwards things, you see like the parallels. They're like, oh, it's just like she fell into Will's arms. Is this like how it's going to go? I mean, I'm hoping it is, because like I said, it's a whole new world you're introducing me to. And to go on like a same storyline sort of, but different, is like really fun to me.
Yeah.
I thought it was dope that he already has an ambiguous moral ground that he's already in.
Right.
He does good when he can do good, and then he's got to do dirt for himself to survive.
But even his dirt has a code, you know, like he doesn't get personals.
Oh yeah, the personals.
Right.
Which that changes quickly for us, but still, he has a code. It exists. He exists in a moral, ambiguous place where he tries his best to do good. And I thought it was dope that the little robot he works with, it's cute when they have him sitting on the elevated beam.
Yeah.
Throwback. I was like,
sandwiches.
But on the chest of the robot is Delos. It's made by the same company that made the host. So we're working with somebody who already has experience with the integration of technology in his life in a really like succinct way. And I always thought that was like a fly way to bring us up to speed technically.
Right. Yeah. But at the same time, since you brought that up, even though he does work with technology, you can still see he has a disdain for it, because he doesn't have his chip from Insight embedded. Mm-hmm. He opted out of their program, their psych program, to help him with his PTSD or whatever.
Right.
He got rejected over that phone interview and asked, is this a person? And it obviously wasn't. It was an AI.
Right. Yeah.
So he seems to have a strong disdain for the technology that is so obviously taking over society. And dominating it, and in the case of the Rehoboam, it's charting everyone's course.
Yeah.
So he's very much against that. But the irony is, the person that's probably going to change his life, is technology. Is, like the horseman for it, the horsewoman.
That's why I think the whole episode was framed so well. Which went as a Westworld episode, not framed well, but like. So she's trying to find, who's the man in charge, like who's the one in charge. She follows this one guy, and then we get introduced to the big sphere, like you're saying, that's like charting everyone or like gathering all this information, all the way down to this guy, Paul, Aaron Paul.
Just call him his character name, Caleb,
who was like on the ground. He's the one who's being charted without his consent or his want, And even when you get to that guy that she reaches, like you find out that he's not even the top guy.
Right.
So
he's just a figurehead.
Right. So we're seeing how we quickly inside the park, we're finding out who is the hierarchy. And now we're in the real world quickly finding out who's the hierarchy there.
Yeah.
One of the things that I want to talk about too is like, what is that thing? So they show a circle, right? Which is supposed to be like the world. And then
what are these like anomalies, right? These like these spikes that come out.
What do you think that is, and why are they showing us that? France had, I think, an idea.
Oh, well, I can't remember my original idea. It looked I remember I had two ideas. One, it looked like the sun, and it looked like those were arcs like the solar. Oh wow, that's real. Those are called coronas.
A solar flare.
The solar flares coming off the sun and just anomalies. And then I was like, that's really just that big Skynet type sphere logging in all these moments of when the rednecks. I think it also charted when the hosts would end up leaving Westworld. Like it was aware of all of it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, since you said it looks like a sun, Westworld every season has a new opening, and there's that imagery of like this.
Icarus.
It's a synthetic eagle. It's not real because we saw it being crafted. Yeah, and the Icarus type imagery, it flying into an eye or a sun, but it's a jet engine. So there's this idea of getting too close to something that is destroying you.
Maybe that's like, well, I guess it could go both ways, where it's like maybe that is like Dolores, right? Dolores flying straight, like, whoever made Dolores gave her these wings. Yeah. It's like, don't go too close to the sun, and she's going straight for it. Right. Or the other way around, like
or the other way around. Maybe Dolores is the sun and everything. Yeah, it's like, or maybe Maeve. Like the other thing is, or maybe it's that other guy, Sirac, the guy in white. Right. Not Sirac, like the drink,
like
Sirac,
liquor.
Like all right.
Sirac.
The other thing is when I saw that, because you see it a couple of times every time they change from whoever the narrative focus is. What I thought was interesting about that, and what seems to be a theme that's been repeated this season in particular about this idea of a simulation in a simulation. Mm-hmm. Every time I see that anomaly shit, it makes me feel like what I'm seeing already fucking happened.
Right.
Yeah, it looks historical.
Right. So if this season, which, takes place in a fictional future for us, but we're seeing things that already fucking happened, then what I'm wondering is, well, who the fuck is watching this? Who's replaying this? Or what is the point? Why are these identified as the anomalies? And for what purpose? Like, so it's a mind fuck again that I welcome. Because I fucking love the show.
Yeah.
But can you guys speak to maybe what I was trying to not spoil in the other?
The earlier guy, Sirac?
No, him. But also, just like, did this feel like a different show to you too?
Oh,
season 1 at least.
Yeah,
I mean episode 1.
I did think it felt like, and from the trailer, I thought that that's what was going to happen. Yeah, because we're out of the park. You know what I mean now. So I don't think like, oh, we're gonna go to a different part of the park or this has happened. It's like you're in a whole nother world, a whole nother show. The characters are different. They're operating on different storylines basically now, and you're just getting started. And I think it's so cool and also scary at the same time.
We spent the whole first season being in a place and not knowing ever what was exactly real or exactly fake. Mm-hmm. And then now they've given us a whole new world, which is just as new to us as it is to the hosts who are now occupying it. Mm-hmm. And then they have the visual representation of it, which is the real mind fuck when it moves in and out of the in and out of the different letterbox formats. It's when it's full screen, you're in the real world, but when it goes letterbox, you're in you're technically being told you're in a simulation technically, right? But then it's all shades and variations of it. Oh my God.
Yeah, because in season 1 and 2, folks picked up on the fact that every time there's a letterbox, that shit that was happening in the forge, that shit that was happening, not really happening in real time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it kind of already in episode 2 of season 3, they fuck with that because the episode is in full screen until Maeve, as she's realizing it, she's like, I'm in a simulation. And then it changes into the letterbox format. Yeah. So by them doing that, it's like, these rules we set up for you, watch out. Anything else could be that too.
They're building the maze again. Absolutely. That's what's happening. You're like, what are all these little pieces? And we don't know that there is a maze. Maybe it's not going to be like a physical representation of it. But we've always been going through a maze, and that's what they've showed us, in the other one. So it's like, what is this maze? Yeah. And how is it going to play itself out? Which kind of, you talked about Maeve, which was the next thing I kind of want to go in. So episode 2 is obviously Maeve heavy.
Yes, Maeve centric.
Maeve centric. And so we get through to this point where it seems like Maeve is now going to be playing for what we perceive as maybe the opposition, but by force.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's what it seems like.
Yeah, because we don't know. It's hard because there are people that watch this show and identify Dolores, or Wyatt, whatever, as the protagonist.
Right.
There are also people that watch this show that identify Wyatt as the antagonist. So I think it heavily depends on your point of view on it. Like, is Maeve working for the opposition to who we should be rooting for?
Right.
Or is she is she the hero? That should we be rooting for her against what Dolores is trying to do?
Right.
Like, it's really unclear. I love that moral ambiguity to it because, and then we didn't even touch on
Bernard.
Bernard.
Yeah.
Arnold. Yeah.
Well,
Arnold clone.
He's trying to remember like how he got where he is, like into the real world. But I'm like, I feel like maybe I don't remember this right. But at the end of season 2, I thought that Dolores brought him here so that she could have someone to like, what was it, like fight against and make sure that she's winning or something like that?
It's a check.
Yeah.
Right. It was a check against her, but it's not clear if it's a check, like a wall for her to be hemmed in or
Right.
for her to jump over. It's not really clear her motivations for even having brought him there.
Right.
But what he's trying to do, what Bernard seems to be trying to do is like purge himself of any influence of Dolores the way that he struggled to purge himself from the influence of Ford.
Right.
And he eventually learned that it was his own voice, and he came to that realization for himself of that self-consciousness. But since Dolores now brought him to the regular world or whatever and unleashed him,
she's Ford now.
in a way, yeah, for him. So he's trying to he's one of those characters that, or like you could associate it with like real life with people. Like, he's one of those people that has to come to grips with the fact that things can't or won't be perfect for you to act. And he's always been frozen and frozen. He's always been held captive to that. Like he until he meets the satisfactory qualifications for him to feel like, okay, now things are 100% ready, I will act.
Yeah.
That's not how life works. That's something that a machine needs to understand.
Yeah.
You could be programmed to build cars, but guess what? Now they need you to build respirators.
Well, I think one of the things that was cool
That's
too
a real
is that
life
like
example.
it's true. The thing that was cool is that they brought back the Hemsworth guy.
Yep. Stubbs? Ashley Stubbs?
Ashley Stubbs.
Yeah.
And like one of the things that happened if you kept watching the behind the scenes things, that they were talking about how the actors, like even when they're doing like the robotic kind of movement thing, they're like, we don't use CGI. Like that's him doing it.
Oh, they're
pop
like, locking?
God damn it. I was like, are they doing every fucking thing? Are they robots?
Yes.
Because even like Jeffrey Wright, you can clearly see when he clicks over to like the motor functions one, freeze motor functions one, and then when it's him trying to interrogate himself, and I'm like, what the fuck?
He's good cop, bad cop.
I can't do this.
Himself.
Acting.
But yeah, I like, so the controlling of people's like robot cells, I felt like in the park was very clear, right? Once Maeve got all those powers, she could control them. So in the simulation, when she couldn't control them, I was like, oh, this is something else. She might be the simulation. But in the real world, do you think she would still have that power? Like if she walks up to Dolores, is like, freeze all motor, like would...
I don't think she has that power over Dolores.
Oh, right,
but
right.
anything hooked up to the Delos system, I feel like she could hack it and be like, and figure it out.
Oh, like she did with the robot that took her marble out?
Yeah. I think she can do that with anything in the city.
Yeah, pretty much anything that's run by Delos. Yeah, or any type of like, I don't know how Johnny mnemonic she is. I don't know if she can interface with any technology or not. I have no idea. But I mean, we did see her use those powers like in the real world a couple times, when she stopped other hosts.
Yeah.
But she couldn't stop Clementine, because Clementine, they had altered her in a way that's so there are certain hosts that I don't think she could stop Dolores.
Yeah. At this
Dolores
point,
is too woke.
not.
She's too woke. But she still her mind still, the way it works is an asset to anyone with an agenda wanting to do anything. All
right. So we're gonna move on, but I think before we do, the last thing is the Serac guy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm talking about Maeve having these powers and whatnot, and then you see clearly that he stopped her. You can see in her face like the fear, like shit.
She looked
Am I not in control anymore?
Yeah, that look of pain on her face that kept getting more intense. That was agonizing. I was like, don't do that to Maeve. No.
I was like, oh my God. So is Serac is he the one that's fully in charge? Is he the one that Dolores is trying to come for?
I mean, Dolores just heard about his name for the first time, so I think she is intrigued and wants to know more about him. Yeah, but we don't know. We don't fully know her motivations. We don't know his motivations, and the way that episode 2 ended, we don't know how he's going to necessarily try to convince Maeve that it's in her interest to work for him.
Yeah.
You know, like she in the simulation seemed to be intrigued by the idea that she could probably join her daughter in the great beyond or whatever it was called.
Right.
But I thought that the door on that literally was closed.
Right. Yeah, me too.
So as far as what her motivations could possibly be at this point, I don't know. I really don't know what she wants.
Yeah.
So
I'll see.
Don't know.
Well, next episode, it looks like it's going to be a Tessa Thompson heavy episode now that she's a freaking robot. So,
yeah. And we don't know who is in her head.
Right.
Or who's in Black Tom's head.
Oh, my God.
Right. We don't know.
That's true. All right. So before we close out this episode, we wanted to do at least one coming soon. Because
coming eventually.
Yeah, coming eventually. Because everything else got pushed.
Yeah.
But this one's very exciting, I think. We just watched the trailer. I didn't get a chance to watch it till now because traveling and all that jazz. But Candyman, Jordan Peele produced Candyman.
Produced, not directed. A lot of people are confusing that.
Not directed, produced.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know how Jordan Peele movies usually go. Again, he didn't direct it, he produced it, but when you're a producer, you have your influences. So do you think that this movie is going to have some underlying thing or a type of twist, or is it just a classic slasher?
I'm going to go with both.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's going to give us a lot of the beats of a classic. The trailer gave a couple of classic beats. I was like, but then there's a few like, oh, that's different. I think that might be his, Jordan Peele's style of assisting a narrative. The way he does with his Monkey Paw never tells a story straight up. There's always a little twist to it, a little culture to it that gives it a little sauce, a little flavor. And it's looking like it's going to be a whole lot of flavor on that one. Like that opening one where they're just like, who would do this? And then you just like 5 white girls in the mirror do it. It's like
immediately, right? Yeah.
Little moments like those that give it a twist that can't be classic.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is like the first, as far as I know, well, because we haven't really watched that much of his Twilight Zone stuff.
True.
But in terms of a movie, this would be the first like license thing that he's working with, right? So the other 2 big projects he did were, his own creations. This would be, his spin take on an established franchise. So yeah, I'm really interested. I think I agree with France. I mean, not to sound super safe, but I think we will see a mix of both. But I'm sure he'll lean towards adding his own spin on it somehow.
Yeah.
So whatever that is, we'll see. I'm not a fan of like horror movies with jump scares.
Oh God, you two with the no jump scares.
I'm not, because it seems like a cheap,
Amen.
I don't enjoy that. I like something that fucks with my head, not that startles me because of a sound, and I'm just like, I'm not scared. I'm just literally, you hit my knee with a hammer. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not afraid. It's
a frustrating thing.
It's frustrating. So like, I don't enjoy narratives like that, stories like that, really. Like, so I'm hoping this is psychologically as, thrilling as his other film efforts have been.
Is that like a Slytherin thing? You guys can't do jump scares. You're like, it needs to mean something.
We just want to be actually scared. I want to be tricked into being scared. It's just whack.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was hilarious. I agree. I mean, I hope that it is both, to be honest, as well. I don't mind jump scares. I think they're hilarious. And he was in the closet. But
no. Again, I don't mind if he's in the closet, but directed in a way that it's suspenseful and then scary, not suspenseful and then fucking Dolby Digital THX fucking. Like no. I'm afraid of the orchestra, not the character.
Well, I think there is going to be a twist because France turned away because he was like, the trailer's showing me too much. But like, it kind of looked like Yaya was turning into Candyman, or something's taking over him or coming through him to be born. I don't know. But it was very exciting. And
my money would be on Yaya not being Candyman.
Yeah, I don't think he is Candyman, but there's something he's doing that's like he's able to possess him into the real world or something. I don't know. I don't know. But also, it was hilarious. It seems like the first sight of it is that it only kills white people. That's what it looked like. So maybe
I need to watch the trailer again.
Candyman's coronavirus.
Wow. That's first of all, that's we're trying not to spread misinformation. We really are trying not to spread misinformation.
It's true.
There are people of color being affected by this, like big time.
I mean, Idris has it.
Idris, two African American principals died in New York City, I believe.
Oh,
yeah, let's not dwell.
It's terrible.
I'm just saying, there's a lot. Karl Anthony Towns, he today, the basketball player, he put out a whole video trying to tell people take this serious.
Is he the one who touched all the microphones?
No, he's not.
Also mad at that guy.
And he was like, his mom has it and she's in a coma right now.
Jeez.
Hopefully she'll recover from it. But no, the guy you're talking about is Rudy Gobert.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he did not take it serious, and
made me so mad.
Yeah,
I was like, even if there isn't a virus going around, don't touch everybody's microphones.
Yeah,
it's nasty.
He took it lightly, and
what happened? Anyway, but I'm excited for Candyman. Hopefully, it doesn't get pushed or anything like that. But again,
when is it supposed to release?
When is it?
It's supposed to come out in June. It only has the date that says June right now in the trailer.
Yeah, but that trailer came out before this whole coronavirus thing. So, yeah.
Well, no, it came out before the lockdown in New York, but it was still pretty prevalent in the world.
It came out like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was still pretty prevalent in the world since December. So,
yeah, then the first patient who ever had coronavirus in China was in November.
Yeah, I know, but before he started acting
before the U.S. got anything.
That's what I'm saying. 3 weeks ago,
shut down.
Black Widow was still coming out. You know what I mean? Like 3 weeks ago, everything was still coming out.
Well, I hope that like all of this, the numbers start going down, people start getting better by June. That would be...
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right, people, catch us next time. We're going to talk about Westworld, of course. And, some movie that's available streaming.
Yeah, we'll see. We come up with something fun to try to do with y'all.
Yeah.
Since we're all shut in and quarantined, then maybe we could do something together online somehow.
Yeah. And if you have a movie that's on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, whatever that you like, you guys should totally watch this and review it. Put it in the comments or send us like some type of message, a DM, and maybe we'll check it out since, I can't go to Alamo Drafthouse.
Did they email you? Did Alamo Drafthouse email you like AMC emailed me?
They did. Alamo Drafthouse, the first email they sent was like, we're taking extra precautions. And they talked about like the deep cleanings they're doing every night. And I was like, I think you should deep clean every night anyways.
Yeah, right? After every showing?
Yes. Because your floors are
food
tight, sticky. So, but then they were like, yeah, we're closed.
Yeah.
Sad.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Again, wash your hands like 50 times a day.
or 100.
Or 100.
Just be safe. Practice social distancing. Don't listen to anybody but the medical experts that are out there, please.
Legit.
They're telling you how to best combat this. And I think that if you're listening to this podcast separated from your loved ones, let us be your loved ones.
Yes.
Listen to more of our stuff.
I'm digital hugging you because that's safer right now, okay?
It totally is.
I know you can feel that through your headphones.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody. Thank you for giving us a listen. We appreciate you. Share us, like us.
Subscribe.
I would hope if you're listening to this at this point, you're subscribed.
Tell everyone else to subscribe.
Yeah.
All right. Catch us next time.
Be well, be safe. Godspeed.